Welcome to the Power Up Podcast. Here we ignite your potential and fuel your journey to greatness. With your host, the one and only Rob Bentavegna. With years of expertise in health, fitness, and life coaching, he is here to be your guide, your motivator, and your biggest cheerleader. Get ready to unleash your inner power as we embark on this transformative journey together. So sit back, buckle up, and let's light that fire within. This is not just a podcast, it's an experience. So let's do this.
What is up, everybody? Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Power Up Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Rob Bentavegna. Got a really special episode for you today. I received an email over the past 2 days now. I pushed it off because getting into the swing of doing the video episodes is definitely a little intimidating, to be honest with you. But in true Power Up Podcast fashion, sometimes you got to step outside your comfort zone and attack something new. And stepping in front of the camera in this manner is definitely something I am not used to. So doing this, learning how to do production, I'm using different softwares and platforms to learn how to do it. And I'm doing the best I can. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the video episodes as well. I've received some really nice feedback about doing video episodes. So what we're going to do today is we're going to bypass the my normal motivational quote to start off the episode, because I have an email that I received 2 days ago from a gentleman named Michael, who is a religious listener of the podcast, has been following me for a little while. And if you have caught some of the previous episodes of the podcast, you'll know that every once in a while I get emails, I get messages that if I find that they're useful to myself or useful to you guys that are listening, I will ask the person who sent me the message or the email if it's okay if I share it on the podcast as an episode. And Michael generously said that he would allow it. So today is basically going to be about sweet tooth alternatives. Now, myself, I have a ravenous sweet tooth when it comes to late night snacking and every once in a while just craving something sweet. And I have to find different ways to avoid eating bad sweets as opposed to some good alternatives. So I'm going to read Michael's email, and then we're going to discuss further about my suggestions and my experiences with other alternatives to the typical sweets that we would eat. So let's get into the email. The subject is seeking advice on healthy sweet alternatives. Hi, Rob. I hope this email finds you well. I'm currently on a fat loss journey, and I've been working hard to stay on track with my diet and exercise regimen. However, I often find myself craving sweets, which makes it challenging to stick to my goals. I was wondering if you could recommend some healthy alternatives that I can turn to when these cravings hit. Given your expertise and experience, any suggestions you have would be greatly appreciated. I'm looking for options that are not only satisfying, but also align with my fat loss objectives. Thank you in advance for your help. Best regards, Michael. So, Michael, if you are checking out the episode right now, which I was recently in contact with him, and I told him that I was going to be doing a whole episode just on his email. And basically, it goes pretty simple. There's a simple mantra or whatever you want to call it that I typically use. And that is, if it's not in the house, you can't eat it. Now, I'm not going to be repetitive because I did do an episode on that exact line, but it does go hand in hand with what we're talking about today. And there's also another one that I use of, before you put it in your mouth, you have to ask yourself, is it going to benefit my end result, my end goal? So in this case, sweets are dangerous because sweets are sugar, they're carbs. And if you're trying to lose body fat, carbs are not your enemy, but they're also not your best friend, is what I typically tell people. So you don't want to cut them out completely and do the fad diet of keto, but it's okay to limit them. And you have to learn to cut back on them in order to lose the body fat that you're looking to lose. So in this case, one of my best alternatives to sweets, and I've been doing this one for past 2 or 3 months now, and I never liked it. I never liked it, but now I've grown to love it. And it's very, very simple. It's watermelon. I love watermelon. And it's a great alternative because, I don't know what the exact percentage is, but it's 80, 90% water, and it's sweet. It's natural sugar. It's a natural diuretic, and it's satiating, so it keeps you full. And what I've been doing is, anytime, I'm trying not to shake my table because the camera keeps moving. I have to get a new tripod for the camera. But anytime I'm craving something sweet, right? And me and my wife, we typically don't put sweets in our house because whenever I'm just a genuine sweet tooth, that's just my thing. I just love sweets. She is a salty snacker first, and then right after she's done eating something salty, she needs something sweet. So what we do is we limit both in the house. We don't typically have chips, popcorn, pretzels, any of that stuff, cookies, any of that we typically don't keep in the house because we're both very proactive on our diets. So we don't like to have anything in the house that's going to hurt our end goal. So what I've turned to is watermelon. And watermelon for me has become just a staple in my literally my day. I eat it throughout the day because there's perfect example was this morning. I woke up and I was starving. And I don't know why I was so hungry. I ate pretty late last night, but I woke up starving. So instead of whipping up breakfast, because I usually fast until about 9 o'clock, before I just start whipping up my normal breakfast, I was like, you know what? Let me curb the appetite and I'll eat some watermelon. So I ate a bunch of pieces of watermelon. And within about 10 minutes after eating it, I felt like I could definitely go another hour or two without getting hungry. And I didn't need something sweet, but let me tell you, it was refreshing to wake up and eat some nice ice cold watermelon. So that's definitely an option. Watermelon is definitely, I would say, is number one on my list personally that I focus on. Now, another one is depending on where you shop. So there'll be different brands, there'll be different types of these things, but I opt for popsicles. So yes, some people would say that's all sugar, and you know what? You're 100% right. But before we get to that, think about what type of popsicle you're eating. So I'm not saying like the ones we used to have when we were kids in the plastic tube that you would squeeze and then you'd suck the juice out when there was juice left at the bottom, or those big ice pieces that you would chew on. I'm talking about the natural fruit popsicles. So the ones I buy, me and my wife shop at Aldi a lot, and I buy these. I forgot what they're called, but they're natural fruit bars. I think the only artificial sweetener in them is oh oh my gosh, monk fruit. I think it's monk fruit or it might be stevia. But either way, it's a natural sweetener. It's not sucralose, it's not aspartame, it's none of those. So it's either stevia or monk fruit sweetener. And it's amazing. And there's mango, there's pineapple, there's watermelon, there's peach, there's a whole bunch of them. And they're amazing. And they're pretty big. They're, the popsicle sticks maybe, I don't know, 3-4 inches long. And then the popsicle itself is another 3 or 4 inches tall. So it's a big popsicle and it's delicious. So perfect example was last night. We went out for dinner and I came home because I didn't want to eat any of the desserts at the restaurant. So it was like cheesecakes and stuff like that, which don't get me wrong, I definitely wanted one, but I didn't do it. And I said, I need something sweet. So we came home, I showered, we got ready for bed, and I was like, I need something sweet. So I went and grabbed one of those popsicles, and it was the best. It was amazing. And they're so good. And I believe each one is only 110 calories. So it's virtually no calories at all. So two good options. Just make sure if you're going to opt for something like the popsicles, just make sure you're looking at the nutrition facts on the back as far as sugar, carbs, fats. Don't worry so much about the proteins because there's probably not going to be any of them in there, maybe 1 or 2 grams. But focus more on the carbs and the fats and the sugars. So that's another good alternative. And another one is something that I started making based off of a friend's recommendation, which is edible protein cookie dough. And let me tell you something. There are so many recipes out there. I'm going to put the recipe to the one that I'm doing in the description of the video. I found it online. I want to give full credit to whoever came up with the recipe. But it's amazing. And it is so good. And you can make as much of it as you want. It's basically a little bit of brown sugar. So there is sugar in there. Don't get me wrong. And it does taste really, really good. But there's a little bit of brown sugar. And then it's 2 scoops of vanilla protein of your choosing. Or I actually use cookies and cream, and it was a little different, but it was so good. Cookies and cream, peanut butter, almond butter, or if you have a nut allergy, you can use sun butter. What else? And dark chocolate chips, and that's it. You mix it all together. You put it in the refrigerator to chill for. I think I did mine for like 15 or 20 minutes, and then you take it out. And let me tell you, you could get like an ice cream scooper, and you just make like a little ball, and you could chew on. It is so good, and it's sweet, but it's not like garbage sweet. I think there's only like, I want to say it's only like a third of a cup of brown sugar, which is the smallest measuring cup that you have in your house. And it virtually is, if you really want to count it, there's not a lot of sugar in it at all. So, but Another option, that's why I'm putting it third on the list, because there is sugar in there that you're adding. But protein value, I think per measured ball, I think it's like 9 or 10 grams of protein per ball. I'm almost positive that's exactly what it is. Maybe even 12 grams. The whole serving, depending on how much you put. So like I always up every measurement besides the brown sugar. I'll leave that the same, but I'll up it to 2 scoops or 3 scoops of protein, 2 to 3 tablespoons of peanut butter, and then the chocolate chips stay the same, and I just mix it all together, and it's a big bowl, and usually lasts me the whole week because I'll just have a little bit, not every night, but if I'm craving something sweet, I'll do that. So like I said, I'm going to put the recipe website or description, or the where I got it from, in the description of this video, so you guys can go there and check it out. But so those are 3 really good options. Now, I don't want to steer away from the sweets, but for all my salty people out there, I'm talking about your snacks, not you being salty, but for the salty snackers out there, popcorn is your friend. And I don't mean the movie theater butter bags of popcorn. I mean, get yourself a bag of kernels, put them in the microwave. I use coconut oil. I use not coconut, avocado oil. I use just a little bit in the bottom. Get that thing in the microwave. Salt, pepper. They do make, which I bought, they make these little seasonings for popcorn that you're popping yourself. And there's all different flavors. I got churro. I got the churro one, white cheddar, and Creole. And it's like an Old Bay that goes on the popcorn. Let me tell you, amazing, 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 amazing. Because popcorn by itself really doesn't hold much nutritional value, because it, like we all know about corn, goes in the same way it comes out. So you don't really hold on to any carb or anything like that in your body. But with these seasonings, there's 0 calories. I'll put these in the description as well. There's 0 calories, and when you pop that popcorn, you put it on there, it's a game changer for the popcorn. Because I did plain Jane popcorn, no oil, no butter, no salt, no nothing, and I could eat it, but it's not enjoyable. You're putting it in a cup, and it's like, this is literally like eating cardboard and air. There's nothing to it. So what I chose to do was I bought these seasonings, I put them on there, and it's a game changer. You add some life back to the popcorn. So that's a great alternative for a snack. That's the only one I'm going to mention for salt, because really you can go with rice cakes. They do hold a little more carb value than the popcorn does, but popcorn is number 1 on my list when I need something salty to snack on. And again, be mindful of how much you're eating. I usually fill a Solo cup is normally what I put it in, and I'll just eat that. And that's it. But I'll make a big bag of it, and I'll just keep filling up that Solo cup whenever I want popcorn, and I won't overdo it, but that's it. So back to Michael with the sweet tooth thing. There's a lot of different recipes out there for this one too. And I used to make it all the time, and there's different varieties of how to make it, different things you could do to it. Protein ice cream, or a friend of mine used to call it Froteen, so frozen protein. And there's so many different recipes out there that you could do. The one that I normally do is coconut milk, because coconut milk has a little bit of natural sweetener to it. I normally get the vanilla coconut milk to make this with. It's usually a scoop or 2 of your protein powder. Mix it all together. You could I sometimes add a little bit of stevia in there if I can't get vanilla coconut milk, just to give it a little bit of sweetness. And then you kind of add toppings as you want. I normally opt for like fresh fruit, or every once in a while I'll get crazy. I'll add a little bit of chocolate syrup on there, but that's only if I really want to get a little extra sugar in there. But that's a great one. Mix it up, throw it in the freezer, let it freeze, and then you have a really good frozen protein snack that's loaded with protein. I mean, every serving is probably anywhere between 10 to 15 grams of protein per serving. So it's a great alternative. So, and my other piece of advice is this. Those are some of my recommendations and things that I do personally. But for you guys out there that do have sweet tooth, whatever, you Google, sweet snack alternatives for weight loss, or for bodybuilding, or for muscle gaining, or whatever. There will be a slew of recipes out there that you can make at home that will satisfy your sweet tooth craving and give you the added benefit of low carb, low fat, high protein, or high fat, high protein, low carb. There's a lot of alternatives out there. So many people make recipes up. And let me tell you, a lot of them are amazing. I've tried multiple recipes over the years, and probably hundreds, believe it or not. And I found some that are god-awful. I don't know how people made them. And then there's some that are just amazing, where it's like you actually forget that there's nutritional value to it, and it's not just a sweet or salty snack. So that's pretty much going to do it. I mean, there's really no limit to what you can do with snacks. It's just remember what I said in the beginning of the episode. But if you're going to put something in your mouth, ask yourself, is it going to hurt me or is it going to help me with my end result, the goal I'm shooting for? So that goes with all snacks. That goes with all salt, sweet snacks that you guys are going to opt for in your day-to-day looking to satisfy some sort of craving that you're having. So that's going to do it for today's episode. I do want to keep this one as short as I can. We're already climbing to like 15 minutes. So if you are a return listener, I highly, highly, highly am so thankful. And I love all of you for coming back to check out the podcast on the video platform. All the video platform episodes are recorded with just audio. So they will also be on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere that you've already been seeing them. And also subscribe to the YouTube channel because, like I said, we're going to be recording almost every single episode on a video recording. Because, again, I'm doing the production on my own, and it's not hard. It's time consuming, and my days are limited with being able to do video. So I'm going to do my best to do as many of them as I can in a week. As far as video goes, I will have an episode of the podcast out every single day, but video might be a little bit hit or miss. But also, I keep saying I'm going to end this soon, but I keep going. But what I'm going to start doing also, if you haven't seen it already, I'm getting back into being active on TikTok. So I'm Instagram Reels. So I'm posting motivational videos, motivational thoughts, and then some educational thoughts as well coming up with in regards to either fitness or life coaching based on things I talk about with clients and based on things that just I think about on a day-to-day basis that I feel would benefit all of you to check out and listen. So get on there at Rob_Bentavegna is my tag for TikTok. And then it's at Bentavegna Coaching for Instagram. And you can always find me on Facebook at Rob Bentavegna. So I love you all. We will see you all tomorrow for the next episode. Have a great day, everybody. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for tuning in to another empowering episode of the Power Up Podcast. Remember, the journey to greatness is within your reach, and you have the power to make it happen. If you're ready to take your life to the next level and want personalized support along the way, don't hesitate to reach out to Rob about his life coaching services. All of his contact information is available in the description of the show. Trust me, reaching out could be the best decision you ever make. Until next time, keep powering up and pursuing your dreams with passion and purpose. See you soon.